where people in court. I'm not even talking about bandits now or unknown gunmen. I'm talking about the average neighborhood thief. They run rampant here in Abuja, in Lagos, in Imo, in Kaduna, everywhere. There is the core, and I'm using this opportunity, right? I'll come back to this particular headline. I'm using this opportunity to call out to the Nigerian police force, to the presidency. We have deeper issues in the Nigerian police force. Deeper issues. Even if we call back 11,000 police officers, is that going to, are we going to see so are we saying 11,000 officers is the reason why we have the kind of insecurity at the level that we have it in the country?
Well, the one thing that it will be is the first step. You have to call them back and ensure that they are reassigned to the places that they're needed most, and then follow up with all the necessary things which you talked about, training, equipping them, and all of that. So it's even about calling them back, and we got to this point. Let's say we moved from A to B, but with this declaration that the president made, it's like it's going to
we are going back to minus A.
Because he said, and I quote, "I know some of our people are exposed and we must make exceptional provision for them. The civil defense is equally armed, and I want to know from the NSA if we are to arm our forest guards too, we should take it seriously." This in response to the fact that the withdrawal of police must be enforced without delay, highlighting security threats nationwide and why it's important to return those people or withdraw those people, but at the same time bringing up this other high exposure risks matter and talking about getting the clearance from him. So again, let's even leave the 11,000 because, again, like I said, some people have highlighted that how quickly can you withdraw them? I mean, you had Senator Ningi complaining that his only orderly was withdrawn. Meanwhile, other what they call it now, some of his peers and all of that didn't have their own withdrawn. So there's also the conversation around how practically it will be to enforce that, that directive. I also think that there should be focus on this same NSCDC that you're talking about. Now, you talked about their core mandate.
Yeah.
Let's go through it. First of all, protection of critical national assets and infrastructure.
Right.
They're responsible for safeguarding infrastructure, strategic locations, and assets vital to Nigeria's economy, such as power stations, oil and gas pipelines, telecoms, water resources, railways, and other key facilities. One of their mandates. Another one will be disaster and crisis response. Then you also have them the mandate of crime prevention and intelligence gathering. That's also one of their mandates. It's also regulation and monitoring of private guard companies. They are supposed to license, regulate, and monitor private guard companies in Nigeria to ensure professionalism,
right,
adherence to standards,
taking that away from the Nigerian police force,
and contribution to national security. Then you also have environmental and pipeline protection, safeguarding schools and communities. Just as Dr. Majid mentioned a few weeks ago, they are a core component of the Safe School Initiative. They are supposed to protect educational institutions, promote early warning systems, and strengthen resilience. There's also collaboration with security agencies and stakeholders, training and capacity development. I went straight to their website to get their mandate.
Right.
So perhaps with this one, they are not mandated by this. So I don't see to stand as guards. What they are mandated to do is license private guard companies,
right? Which
will bring me to the next point, which is the police have been doing this for a while. There's an instruction to withdraw them. We're seeing pushback, especially from the VIPs and the VVIPs themselves. And then the president is now looking like he wants to make some kind of a concession for the ones who are deemed politically exposed.
Right.
Why not just have an entire outfit? I saw someone who was talking about the vast opportunities that Nigerians can tap into from this announcement, where you now have outfits that are trained, outfitted and everything for private guard duties. Because it's looking like it's not necessarily a police thing and it's not an NSCDC thing.
Somi, that will not solve the problem.
What will not solve the problem?
Creating another outfit entirely.
But I mean, you said you were taking the NSCDC away from their core mandate. It's as good as taking the police away from their core mandate. So the police, as a matter of fact, have more of an umbrella role in protecting lives and properties. The problem is that too many of them have been designated to a minor part of the society, while the majority seem to be suffering from it. So if you say that NSCDC, we're taking them away from their core mandate, then why isn't there focus on giving it to the people who actually have a core mandate?
That's their core mandate.
Yes, that can serve these VIPs
protection.
And VVIPs.
Now, you remember, I think it was 2016 when the Peace Corps, I don't know if you remember the Peace Corps, yeah, when they were in court back and forth.
I remember that drama.
And all of it. One of the major issues that knocked down the Peace Corps at the time was the fact that it was, according to the court, what's this word now? Duplication of services.
Mm-hmm.
When we have too many institutions doing almost the same thing. So, and why I said that's not the solution is because we already have the Nigerian police force. We have other paramilitaries that have been established already. Because when you're looking at this, you need to create bylaws for them to enable them to function. You need to create a new, it's more like it's a paramilitary. It's going to be paramilitary.
No, you don't.
Are you saying you're carving it from the police force?
No, you don't. No. These are private institutions. These are not government.
Private institutions cannot bear arms, cannot bear firearms.
No. Because if NSCDC has a mandate to license, regulate, and monitor them, that means there's already an act that allows for them to be set up in the first place, and then NSCDC just comes and does the work that they're supposed to do. But see, the point I'm trying to make is this. Nigerians, at first, when the news came out, were very, very excited.
Right.
Take away the police, direct them to where they're supposed to be. I mean, you even had people level the same accusations against the military to say, you are not doing what you're supposed to do. You are doing private guard here and private guard there. But the police has even more of a mandate than the NSCDC when it comes to private, guard duties, if you will, right? So if Nigerians are saying, or if you're saying, look, the police should be focused on protecting the vast majority of Nigerians who actually need their protection, then let a designated unit that can handle VIPs. Designated
units in where? The police force?
Wherever.
Because, you need to spell it out for me.
If you use the police force matter now.
Yeah, you need to spell it out.
If you use the police force matter now, we don't have enough policemen. If you do the ratio, how many policemen have guarding each Nigerian? Our policemen are already strained.
You have helped me make my point by 50%. Now let me finish it. My point exactly is this. Number one, many of the VIPs usually require a personnel that can carry firearm, and I have a problem with that because firearms that is supposed to
have a problem.
I do. Firearms that is owned by the state. So
how will you protect exposed people?
Firearm that is supposed to be owned by the state, right? That's owned by the state. What we are doing is hypocrisy. There are many cultists in this country that have guns. There are many individuals in this country that have guns. Unregistered, unlicensed guns. So my point exactly is, if we're going to, I told the path of having a private institution, private institutions licensed, trained, properly documented, how many people in particular are in that category as officers attached to VIPs. Let us leave the police officers and the NSCDC to do their work. Now, my point exactly is this, Somi, even if it's going to be the Nigerian police force, why can't we have the Nigerian police force function like a proper the chief security outfit when it comes to civil engagement? Why can't we have people, how many young Nigerians now? We have over 10 million unemployed youth in the country. How many people right now would they say there is recruitment in Nigerian police force and maybe the person even has an OND or an HND would want to go and work in Nigerian police force? How much are these guys earning? So why can't we improve the perception, the image of the Nigerian police force such a way that young people want to work there?
Is that going to solve the problem?
It can, to a large extent, because now we have more people. Why is the Nigerian police force stretched thin?
Okay, so this is the way I see it. As we wrap this up so we can move on to the next story. A pronouncement was given, and some people would justify the withdrawal of policemen from VVIPs and VIPs due to a number of factors, some of which you've mentioned, but others will include the fact that they are burdened with an unsustainable range of duties, both maintaining law and order. You also have preventing crime, conducting investigations, managing civil unrest, and they're also expected to provide personal protection to thousands of VIPs and VVIPs nationwide. And this includes the person who probably just wants to travel and needs police escort to get safely to their homes, So all of these people, right?
Yeah.
And some people will posit that the number of roles that they have compared to the number of men in the police force is unsustainable. You need to be able to have more numbers. And so when Mr. President made that pronouncement about the withdrawal, he also mandated that additional recruitments should be made. What I wasn't clear on was whether it was just into the police force or into our general security apparatus nationwide. But let's assume that they were going to recruit maybe 10,000, 30,000 more policemen. Then it will be no different, the way I see it, from having an outfit that is specifically set up to handle solely protection of VIPs and VVIPs, because that's an entire recruitment process coming on where you will train, you will equip, you will do this, and you will do this, and you will do that. I would rather that that was very openly done than what we now have with the pronouncement that was made yesterday, where the president comes out to say, yes, we're withdrawing it, there's no going back on that, but we understand that they are politically exposed persons, and so we'll make exceptions for them. Because my problem with that is that it will create a loophole for, if not as many as...
You are very correct.
If not as many as majority of this same police force who were talking about being overburdened, going back into those services. And a lot of them, it was like a skit, but it was a point that was being made, something on social media that I saw, where it says, how many of these policemen will actually want to go into regular duty when they know what they're benefiting from these?
Exactly.
So if it's going to be a police thing, I would definitely say, look, the 11,000, let them return. Whoever it is that are the new outfit, if it has to be under the police force, let these people be trained specifically for VVIP protection. Don't model it up again. Don't mix it up. What we're having now is a mix-up and a gap that is going to be created for everything to go back to what it used to be before. And if it's not going to be a police thing, if it's the NSCDC, and we say, okay, we've looked at their core mandate, and this does not include...
It doesn't include that core mandate. I think the NSCDC should be left alone.
They are already, to some extent, an existing force. They have undergone some training. The problem is that we are not seeing them being deployed even to the areas that is their core mandate.
Even their core mandate.
So you might as well create a section for them and train them and continue to recruit into that what they call it, paramilitary organization for the purpose of protection of VIPs and VVIPs. Let it not be that NSCD is doing it, police too is also doing it. No, there should be a complete and clear separation in the roles and the duties of these people. And if it's not an NSCDC thing, NSCDC now take up your mandate of licensing these private guard companies that are supposed to do it and ensure that use that to even create job opportunities for Nigerians. I heard there's about a $400 million or $1 billion opportunity waiting there.
So, to the best of my knowledge, I may be wrong. To the best of my knowledge, private individuals who are not in the national, security force and paramilitary are not supposed to bear firearms, and we already have an issue of weapon floating aimlessly about in the country. Like I said, many cultists have guns, many private individuals have guns, and it's a big problem that we have. So I wish we would be able to do this in a way that we don't add to the problem, because when we now look at private institutions, they have to be weaponized. That's the truth. Again, you might want to argue that why do VIPs need weaponized guards? I'm
not even going to.
That's an argument. But let's not go there. Let's not go there.
If there's any kind of reason to guard them in the first place, then there's justification for arms.
I agree with you, because in a sense, on one hand, if you do the right thing, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, nobody want to kill. But that may be a naive thing to say because we're talking about politics here. Well, that's by the way. Now the point is, if it is going to be private institutions that are going to do this job, then they will need to bear firearms,
and they should be licensed to do so. So there are provisions now.
That means there'll have to be an amendment.
No, there are provisions even now for individuals who fall within a certain category,
Yes,
category, private individuals to be able to carry arms. That is why they could have raised an issue against, what's his name? I think it was Tukur Mamu, who, when they were going through his they raided his apartment or house or whatever. He was in possession of a firearm. He was licensed, but his license has expired. So there is provision even now for that to be done. I think what the lawmakers were looking at was expanding that so that it's a more robust one. It's not going to be that they will now set up some new laws.
So let them go ahead and do that. Because again, I think I'll circle back to where I started from. In all of this issue, the main problem we have in the country is not even any policy. All we are doing right now, we are debating the policy and how it can possibly work on the premise that all things are being equal. So in Nigeria, all things are not equal. This is the biggest problem. Even the police force, if we do this thing the way we ought to do it, a Yahoo boy who just cashed out $2,000 and wants to go to his village for December, if he has some 150 to 200,000 naira to 250,000 naira, he will get 2 police officers to escort him. A Yahoo boy. We've seen videos in this country. So I dare say that in this country, one of the biggest challenges we have is not even exactly the policies. The policies can be a little shaky here and there. It is how we always look for loopholes to make a mess of every single policy. That is the biggest problem. Right now, there are so many. If you have a car, you want to move a car from here to Port Harcourt, you can get a police officer. Whether the man is on duty or is supposed to be on duty tomorrow or not, if you pay that man 70,000 naira now, he will drive the car himself. If he's not able to wear his uniform, he will wear the other, I don't know how to call it, the other clothes. He will drive that car from Abuja here to Port Harcourt for you. With 70, what am I even saying? 50,000 naira. 50.
For you, that's a loophole.
It is a loophole.
Okay.
So now, what this is going to do is that it's going to create another avenue, like you have established, that another avenue for that system to be circumvented again. And I think this is where the biggest problem is for me.
So, I mean, you and I are pretty much on the same side.
Yes, we are.
Except for one point. I believe that there are instances where people who are considered average Nigerian require services of protection detail.
I do not disagree.
I agree.
I do not disagree
that should happen. Yeah. And that is why I'm saying, look at who the shoe fits the most in terms of the security apparatus that we have, whether police, paramilitary, and whatever, and allow for the creation of that. What I'm saying is, let them not be muddled up. See, I believe to an extent, even I have been some kind of a beneficiary somehow of security detail. Yes, there are times when it is important, and it's not. The problem is that they make provision for it more.
Yeah,
hold on.
Yeah.
With the state of insecurity in this country.
That is the problem.
With the state of
insecurity.
It's not a bad thing if an insecurity detail. Hello.
No, it's not. No, for me it is not. Hold on, it is not. I have been a beneficiary too, and I'm going to be honest here. But the problem is that we all got here in the first place because the Nigerian police force is messed up. And this is the bigger problem. This is the bigger picture for me.
So which is why take this away from them completely. Focus on what needs to be done with the police.
This is only one problem, one issue,
and all of that, and let them focus on
this. This issue is only one of many, and it is just like you are somebody has is like you are cutting the branch. A tree is bad. You are cutting the branch. We need to solve this issue from the roots.
Okay. Granted. We will open up the phone lines soon, but that will be after the 4 o'clock news to get your thoughts on it. Let's see if we can run through the other stories that we have. I'll start with one question to Gabriel Spector. Gabriel, who is the senator? Who are the senators in your state?
I'll have to check.
Okay, there we go. That is the basis for the second story that we have, as there was drama on the floor of the Senate when the members of the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee apparently were shocked at an ambassador nominee from Ekiti State, and Emmanuel Adeyemi, who could only identify 2 of the 3 senators in his state during the screening. Mr. Adeyemi, a deputy director in the office of the permanent secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and a PhD holder from universities in Hong Kong and France, appeared before the committee for screening alongside several other nominees. 3 senators represent each of the 36 Nigerian states, while, of course, the FCT we know has only 1, bringing the total number of senators in the country to 109. And so with the transmission of names, ambassador screening has been on, particularly for the last couple of days or so. But as far as this particular session, Mr. Adeyemi stood up, attempted to pay tribute to the senators from Ekiti State, which is, a normal tradition for nominees appearing before lawmakers. At this point, you kind of want to wish for him that he had just left that alone, because he went ahead, mentioned two, namely the Senate leader, Opeyemi Bamidele, Ekiti Central, and then the Senator Yemi Adaramodu in Ekiti South. And then when he came to the third senator, he was dead air, radio silence, basically. And then he was now pressed to mention the name of the senator. Apparently, he became visibly confused. A member of his delegation eventually had to whisper the name of the third senator, Cyril Fashi, which is the senator representing Ekiti North, to him. And then the committee members went gaga. They were so upset, and they expressed displeasure with his attitude. Again, Baba should have just left the acknowledgement of them altogether. But 2 out of 3, you would think, should be some kind of a pass mark. But he took it out on him, saying, how is he going to be able to represent the country if he cannot even name his senators? More on that after this. Stay with us.
Right after this.
Do you want to enter the stadium and experience the AFCON? Do you want to cheer for your team?
Audio
You get a daily dose of news trends.
Crisis averted in aviation sector after aggrieved unions suspend strike.
Intense conversation.
She's among the ICPC board members. What has she experienced in life? 20 years with a tougher girl. She is there because she has level.
Sports and news to keep you updated all day and every day.
Join the conversation on your number one talk station.
95.1 Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
In a world of movie chaos and trailer apocalypse, only one station gives you the latest and helps you make sense of it all.
I'm not here as a witness.
They were my friends.
Listen!
Oh, you? I just don't trust you.
So sit back, strap in as we take you through the world of movies. Animations,
Smile and wave, boys.
original soundtracks, and awesomeness of epic proportions.
You just want to laugh at me like everyone else.
It's the movie.
Awesome. I don't have friends. I got family.
Sundays, 8 p.m. on your number one talk station, 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk movies. Right now, right now, right now.
It's all talk and more talk on Nigerians' number one talk station.
This country needs a marshal, needs a sheriff.
In some particular societies, especially in my tradition, a woman is not allowed to inherit land.
Issues that get your attention.
This thing has been carry over for the time of Jonathan.
Yeah.
And they continue this billion.
Your views against all odds.
My word is that why those households, why are they not following up their job? Like
the intense conversation.
It has to be given to her now based on sentiment. These are some of the challenges that women go through on a daily basis.
Okay, bro.
And that is
all and more on Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Did you know? Your dose of facts we bet you never knew. Right here.
95.1 Nigeria Info.
From cowries to naira, Nigeria's money story. Before banknotes, before coins, before mobile money, there were cowries. For centuries, small, shiny cowrie shells served as currency across West Africa, including what we now call Nigeria. People used them to buy food, pay dowries, trade goods, even settle fines. In markets and palaces alike, cowries meant value. But then came colonialism. The British introduced coins and later the West African pound, which Nigeria used from the early 1900s until independence. It was pegged to the British pound and printed by the colonial authorities. That changed in 1973 when Nigeria made a bold move, the first African country to decimalize its currency. Out went the pound, shillings and pence. In came the naira and kobo. 1 naira became equal to...
Stay on track with...
Get yourself a Money Point card made for your progress.
The politics of our nation.
They have that right to protest. There is no need to go there now start shooting.
The current affairs of our state.
everywhere we have gone to, the dirt of Abuja is not on the surface.
All at your...
It's 4 p.m. With Money Point, you enjoy free transfers until you turn 25.
The details.
The stories.
With the updates.
Your number one station for talk brings it all.
Nigerian politics is more strategic. Even look at the presidential level, you see almost the same thing almost playing out. It's a game of numbers and popularity.
Even of course to help our brothers and sisters to rise up, to condemn.
Don't be left out of the conversation.
Let's talk
On 95.1
Nigeria Info. And now, news from the nation's capital. This is Abuja Today.
Commuters plying the busy Abuja-Kefi Expressway woke up to heavy traffic situation early Thursday morning. The gridlock, which reportedly resulted from the ongoing road reconstruction and maintenance work in the area, started from the new Nyanya police station axis and stretched all the way to One Man Village. Our correspondent Na Douglas reports that both lanes were blocked, leaving motorists stuck in traffic for hours. The frustrating development forced many passengers to trek long distances to meet up with their various activities. Some motorists blame the company handling the projects for failing to create adequate traffic diversion, while others argue that impatience among road users contributed to the chaos. The Federal Road Safety Corps has impounded no fewer than 50 vehicles within 2 hours along the Giri-Gwaglada-Lokoja Highway as it began a nationwide clampdown on overloading and other traffic violations. The operation marked the commencement of a 30-day enforcement exercise aimed at reducing road crashes during the Christmas and New Year season. Speaking during the inauguration in Abuja, the Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed said the Corps would no longer tolerate what he described as madness and rascality associated with overloading on Nigerian roads. Mohammed, who was visibly angry with the attitude of motorists, particularly drivers of articulated vehicles, directed the unloading of the goods and passengers. And finally, the Katangbe Extension Residents Association has condemned alleged illegal raids by the Buhari Area Council agents over the enforcement of payment of radio and television license fees. President of the association, Mohammed Gimba, made this known in a statement in Abuja. Gimba said in recent days, thugs and armed personnel invaded the district, forcibly arresting gatekeepers and other domestic staffers who were carrying out their lawful duties within private residential properties. He explained that they were rounded up without cause, taken away in trucks, and the residences they were guarding were left unsecured with gates left wide open. And that's Abuja Today on 95.1 Nigeria Info. Thank you for listening. More news comes your way 5 p.m. The news update. I am Joy Eberebe.
The details.
The stories.
With the updates.
Your number one station for talk brings it all.
Nigerian politics is more the strategic. Even look at the presidential level, you see almost the same thing almost playing out. It's a game of numbers and popularity.
It's not to help our brothers and sisters to rise up and condemn.
Don't be left out of the conversation.
Let's talk
On 95.1
Nigeria Info.
The politics of our nation.
They have that right to protest. There is no need to go there now start shooting.
The current affairs of our state.
Everywhere we have gone to, the dirt of Abuja is not on the surface.
All at your fingertips on your Let's Talk station.
95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
In the comfort of your home, on your way to work, in the midst of your daily activities. Your Let's Talk station is here to keep you informed. Only on your number one for talk, 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Let's talk. Welcome back to Hard Facts.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
All right, getting back into the conversation straight away, and so that we can open up the phone lines ASAP. Story that we were sharing just before the commercial and the news came up. Mr. Adeyemi, an ambassadorial nominee for Ekiti State, came under fire by members of the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee who were giving him heat for not being able to mention all three of the senators representing his state. Adams Oshomole, APC, Edo North, and Seriake Dixon, PDP, Bayelsa West, also criticized the nominee's lapse, questioning his capacity to effectively represent Nigeria abroad. Someone said, I think it was Senator Asukwe Ekpeyong, said, much as we admit that one man can't know everything, it's expected that somebody like you, who has been nominated to represent the country as an ambassador, should know the details, like the three senators from your state. However, Oyo Central Senator Yunus Akintunde, who stood in for Mr. Bamidele during the screening, was pleading on the the ambassadorial nominee's behalf, urging the committee to overlook the incident. Please forgive him, he said. It's a mistake. Pardon him for not knowing that Ekiti, like other states, has three senators. Other nominees, of course, were screened, and some of the screening is still going on. Ahmed Sulugambari, Maimuna Besto, Monica Enebechi, Ahmed Monguno, Kingsley Onaga, Megaji Umar, and Aminu Nasir, all of them also were screened. Ondo South Senator Jimo Ibrahim, also nominated as a nominee, presented himself for screening despite not being initially listed for the day, to which his colleagues asked him to take a bow and go. So yes, the Senate screening, the panel continues screening today. But what are your thoughts on this? Is this enough to draw the ire of the members of the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee? He knew 2 out of 3. Like I said, how many of us know all of them? How many of us even know one of them? But, considering the gravity of the office which he's said to take the reins of, do you think he should have known all 3 of them? Or perhaps, is that enough consideration to say you're not fit to serve this position? Is this something that an apology would take care of? Whatever the thoughts, let us know shortly. And the final story here, government officials, security agencies, and influential public figures seen to be increasingly exploiting legal loopholes, including and especially the Cybercrimes Act and strategic lawsuits against public participation to intimidate journalists, activists, and civil society organizations across Nigeria. You've had the SERAP, which is the Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project, as well as the Nigerian Guild of Editors, coming to warn yesterday being International Human Rights Day. Government authorities, they were complaining, have relied very heavily on Section 24 of the Cybercrimes Act and the SLAPs to intimidate critics and restrict civil space. A pattern SERAP and NGA have described as entirely inconsistent with the Nigerian Constitution and Nigeria's international human rights obligations. These are continuations from the conversations around international human rights and how Nigeria has been, front and center when it comes to violations. SERAP spotlighted several ongoing cases that illustrate a growing pattern of repression. For example, on the 19th of September this year, the Nigerian Police Force Intelligence Department in Abuja arrested a Tega Ogenedoro, also known as Fedro Oliver, the publisher of the investigative platform Secret Reporters. Apparently transported him to Asaba and detained him at the Force CID without granting him access to lawyers or filing any court charges, something which is clearly a violation of his rights. You also had a situation on the 9th of September that was spotlighted where Ekiti State Police detained Sodiq Atanda, a reporter with the Foundation for Investigative Journalism, FIJ, on allegations of cyberbullying, criminal defamation, conspiracy, and blackmail. And then the SERAP went ahead to highlight other cases as well as the Guild of Editors, and then also made demands on the president, the state governors, lawmakers, the police, as well as the SSS to immediately release individuals detained solely for exercising their rights. They complained that they've weaponized, these people have weaponized the Cybercrime Act. And I believe conversations need to be highlighted more and more around that, because indeed it has become a tool in the hands of some of these officials just to make sure that they silence critics and opposition. The editors also called for coordinated action, talking about how they need to have a common framework to respond to threats, the creation of a network of lawyers for defense, some of these things are even in place. But then what you see is the institution as it is fighting back, and that is a terrible, terrible thing as far as the Nigerian state is concerned. So many people's rights violated, especially by weaponizing the Cybercrimes Act. All of this continued with the conversations, and I believe these conversations will not stop as far as violations of human rights of Nigerians is concerned. All right. Alleged killings by soldiers during protests also came up in the conversation. You can trace it back to as many protest situations that have come up in the country, especially since 2020 up until now, and what happens. I think there was a story the other day. Some people, I can't remember what state, who were arrested during the NSARS protest of 2020, only just getting found by their loved ones. Like, they literally arrested these people, no communication, no access to lawyers, no access to their families. I can't remember the state, I'll look it up. And it was, 5 years later, that word got out. I don't have all the details, but family members finally, oh, this my son is not dead. Oh, this my brother is not dead. Again, stark violations there when it comes to human rights abuses. And so the demands have been placed on the government. They're saying release the individuals that have been detained for exercising their rights. And also they urge the authorities to withdraw slap suits and politically motivated charges, review the Cybercrimes Act along with other restrictive laws, protect journalists and human rights defenders, and respect court judgment. You see that respect court judgment one and constitutional freedoms. That's a whole other basket case that our federal government needs to do better on. Also appealing to the international community to hold Nigerian authorities accountable for violations of rights. We're already beginning to see that in some parts of the U.S. All right, with that, we open up the phone lines. Let's get your thoughts on the stories shared so far. We started out with the situation with the withdrawal of the police detail. Do you think that the pronouncement by the president is the way to go, or do you think that some other method should be adopted? We've also talked about the story with the ambassadorial screening. Tell me really and truly, call us up and let us know. Do you think that is grounds for that ambassadorial nominee to be dropped according to the outcry by the Senate committee? Or do you think it's just one of those things? How many of us know our senators anyway? Let's get your thoughts on that. What?
No, it's not the same. I mean, a colleague was tied me down. You see, this one, I'm going to say this very quickly so we can take phone calls. When it comes to ambassadors, it's one of the issues that many people raised, and I told the same line. You cannot be on assignments. You're on the verge of being cleared to represent the country. We have an image problem internationally. You are now a career diplomat to represent the country, and you don't know as basic as the senators from your state. It's not the same thing, no. I'm not a career ambassador here. I'm not the one going for screening. I'm very sure that the committee did not invite him impromptu. Even if they did, it can't be the same day. So you didn't do your findings, you didn't do your checks. So how then are you going to represent the country internationally? It's not the same thing at all.
Okay, I hear you.
It's one of the reasons why people are calling those names. And some people are going to, want to find there are fault finders in everything the government does. But beyond that, are we really having people who genuinely can represent the country? Or these are just, rewards to certain people, certain groups, certain tribes? How can you, a career ambassador, be called for screening? You don't know a basic thing as a senator. So you don't, what are you doing there?
Oh yeah, let's go to the phone.
Let's go to the phone lines.
07-00951-0000, 0809-597-4869, and on WhatsApp 0809-993-0137. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome, sir.
My name is Adiola Victor from Busa.
Go ahead.
Whether we like it or not, the directive of withdrawing police from VIP will not be fully implemented, whether we like it or not. This is because some people in this country, especially the politicians, they believe they are above the law and they are well connected. I have been saying this since the news broke out that you see, I pity the Inspector General of Police now. I don't have him now because a lot of calls, he has been receiving a lot of calls, a lot of pressure on his neck, and I believe people are ready to exchange a lot of things, especially money, shady things going on, because these politicians, they know how to bribe their way. So as for Ningi that is crying out, he has been in the Senate since 1999. He has money, at least every month he's going over 20 billion plus. So let him go and hire a private security personnel to guide him. And now they are now feeling the heat like we, ordinary Nigerians. They have been enjoying for many oppressing Nigerians. And they have been impoverishing our people, poverty in the land. Now, poverty is fighting back. They have been doing their people. So, they know what they're doing. So, let him and his colleagues defend themselves with their money. Let money defend them now. Maybe they say money is the ultimate. Let them use their money. What of ordinary Nigeria? We don't have, because it's only God that is guiding us. So, therefore, the heat is now at their doorstep. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome.
I am Olatunji calling from Cuba.
Good to have you here, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, ma. You see, I begin to ask myself, is it really about the VIP? Or I think the issue is about the attachment of the police. But one thing I see that there is no station. There is no police station for these people to operate. Unlike the army or whichever military that, their duty is very responsible, unlike the police in Nigeria, the way they have deteriorated. So there is more space in the barracks to occupy the army, unlike the police. There is no station. And again, I think these people that are watching after the VIP, they are high rank. So there will be a filling the gap from the junior ones, since they cannot come back to the office to operate. So they are filling the gap. There is no way for them to come back. And again, I think we are shortage of policemen, because many of these people have resigned under the BBRD people. this an eyewitness. I know of a officer watching after a pastor. He has become the head security of that church. He's no more wearing uniform anymore. So that's why another bishop of a thing cannot take over, because one thing, the lack of security trust. Let me tell you, personally, like to maintain law and order, all these officers, they are nowhere to be found. They are riffraff. They are not developed. They are not educated. So I think that is even though you can see in some operation,
all right, sir.
They see as a VGN.
Okay.
Because I think there should be a real shift in this role. There must be a clarified role. And I think that will go. Hello. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Let's go to the messages. We'll come back to the phone lines. Those that need personal security should help to fight against unemployment, nepotism, corruption, religious and ethnic bigotry. These are the root of our fears. They should entrench good governance, and this is what will give them freedom to move without personal security. Chima from Mapo with that one. Let's see. Obedient Man from NNPC Tower says, good afternoon, Somi. Greetings to you, Gabriel Spector. Somi Biko, don't allow that Zubo to pass me by. Biko Kwa. It's all right. Plenty emojis, just pleading. When I say you should carry me to Seychelles, you don't answer me. Now, look at. The tables have turned. All right. Kashimisa Adaji from Maraba, Nasarawa State says, good day, Somi. I always appreciate the good work. Keep it up. The directive of withdrawal of police officers from VIPs by Mr. President is a welcome development, but the question of effective implementation remains unanswered. If truly Mr. President is to be taken seriously going by this directive, let him lead by example. Wham, I was coming there. Same thing Ningi said. Ningi said it should be applied across board. You cannot collect the only orderly I have. Meanwhile, you are having numerous political office holders, business elites, even entertainers continue to enjoy full police escort. He says, apply it across board. Let's see what happens from the office of the president to the vice president to the Senate president to the speaker, ministers, governors, and business consensus. Even the sons and daughters of political officers, plus singers and foreign business owners. He says he has seen them with police escorts after a directive. And so Mr. President saying it has to be done, there's no going back. But at the same time, opening a door for approval on the side. Yeah, that's the question of effective implementation.
I think you missed this one, Somi.
I'm not done. He says sometimes our leaders leave the substance to chase shadows because the real cause of insecurity has not been addressed. Replacing NSCDC with police attached to VIP is going to cause conflict of interest among the security personnel in our country. The federal government must be cautious with policy inconsistency.
Right, you missed this one. James from Area 10 says, Somi, good afternoon. Compliments of the season. Somi, FRS officers and men are well trained to bear arms since 20 to 25 years ago. I think
you say FRSC?
FRSC, yes.
Federal Road Safety.
Yeah.
There we go.
It says, I think federal government should put their searchlight on them and use them. James from Area 10. Okay.
Let's take
what do you think about FRSC holding their firearms?
Problem upon problem. Let's take this call. Hello?
Somi,
good afternoon. Welcome.
Mr. Gabriel, good afternoon as well.
Good afternoon.
I'm calling you from Oshapa.
Welcome.
Somi, you see, sometimes with the citizens, we are part of the problem of this country. Now it's a simple directive, right? We shouted, we clamored the last day, saying, let's see how this thing is going to have maybe the implementation will be taken fully or not, right? Now, I remember the last time the IGP said, when you see any policeman with a VVIP, snap it and send, right? They make a provision for that. Now, the president has now come out to say, okay, the directive, maybe they've noticed that some of these directives are not being taken serious. That is to tell you there's no total compliance in terms of the order. The president has now come with a different method. We shouldn't forget the lawmaker, myself, you, and the lawmaker, we are not two special or different person. It's just being opportune for him serving as the lawmaker, right? The office of the president and that office of the Senate president, these are two different types of offices. We shouldn't forget about this fact. We should keep our emotion aside. The president, no matter how you do it, take it or leave it, is entitled to. I don't know if you have ever been to the U.S., if you have seen any lawmaker working with 3 or 2 policemen. I don't know of that. But you see the American president, wheresoever he is going, you see the presidential guard going with him everywhere. So what are we saying? What are we arguing about?
Are you saying that the presidential guard that you see in the U.S. is part of the United States police force? Because as far as I know, the State Security Service is directly responsible for securing the President of the United States.
No. We'll put it this way. Get this fact. You can just make a fact check about this.
Okay.
The National Guards, where do they protect? Is it not the president, what was it called? I've even forgotten the name of their presidential villa. How it's being called.
Yeah, but they're separate. They're separate from the United States Police Force. They may have been carved out from there, but you don't see them doing the same thing that the United States Police Force does. True or false?
No. I it's a force. Do you know why I said it's a force?
Go ahead.
He's not a policeman from Minnesota that comes to take charge of presidential guards in this thing, Washington, D.C. I hope you know of that. So it's not a thing of argument about these things. Take it or leave it. The president is entitled to this.
And we are entitled to our opinions as well. You can't come at us for having to break it down.
No.
Okay?
No. We are just breaking this down. I am not disputing of the fact of what you said or what other people said. Are you getting it? What I am saying in essence is let's look at it side by side.
Okay.
We are giving them an option. Go for the NSCDC guys. So there's nothing bad in that.
No. It's like you missed it out. But thank you so much for sharing. He did get. There is the NSCDC who's supposed to fill in the gap. But did you hear when he also said for those who require, because of their exposure, who require clearance from him, the clearance that they are getting from him is not for the NSCDC. It's for the police force. And yes, you said a Minnesota policeman does not come and protect it. First and foremost, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, with Gabriel, they have a state policing system in the U.S.
Yes, they do.
So the National Guard is specific in their duty and their role. You will not see the National Guard doing what the state police forces are doing. No. So the security detail that you are referring to of the United States president has nothing to do with the policemen who are responsible for the day-to-day protection of lives and property of everyday citizens. There is a separation of duty. It's not muddled up, which is kind of like where we're going. But let's take this break. When we come back, we'll continue with your thoughts and contributions. Don't go anywhere, please.